Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for watching today's episode of Sadie and Shawn Have No Friends. And please remember to hit that subscribe button. And before we get started today, I just want to thank our show sponsors, Christiana Salon Spa. This is where you're going to go to relax. And if you're like me, I feel like this summer has been the longest summer in the history of all summers. And so I feel like, guys, we're at the finish line. School is about to start and we deserve a reward. So why not go over to Johnstown, Colorado to Christiana Salon Spa and get yourself a nice, relaxing massage, maybe a deep tissue massage. And if you mention the podcast, they're going to give you 10% off. So whether you're going to get that massage or maybe you get your hair done, or maybe you want to get your nails done, you can get that money off. Also, now I'm talking to the teachers. Teachers, oh my gosh, summer's almost done. You got to take care of all those booger eaters again. You deserve a massage too. So go and see them today. And thank you so much for sponsoring our little show. They're the reason why we get to do what we do, good or bad. Hey, everybody, and welcome to the newest episode of Sadie and Shawn Have No Friends, where we don't have a professional editor. It's myself. And so this morning I woke up and I had messages from people who were like, the audio is not right. And so I had to go at like early this morning, get back on and but if you're watching the video, I didn't fix it because then you got to export it. It takes so long because I'm 94. I'm like one of the golden girls. So that job is overwhelming. So I'm like, listen, if you watched the episode yesterday and you were like, there is no show for the first 2 minutes, it's a black screen. Just know I am going to give an ass chewing to our editor and we're going to move forward because it's too much to fix. I'm sorry, everybody. Use that 2 minutes to reflect.
This one job is this, and sometimes it's a little bit overwhelming, I'm sure.
No, it's not even just one job. This is like a hobby. What the job is, being home with Murphy all day. That's
that
the
would
job.
be a job. But she's got to be starting school soon, right? Because
a week from today,
next week.
6 days, 14 hours, 12 minutes. No, I mean, I don't want to jump for joy, but I so get that commercial now where do you remember that old, like, was it Staples or something commercial where it's the most wonderful time of the year song and the mom is like dancing while she's getting and the kids are like looking sad. I get that.
It was a brilliant commercial. I think a lot of people get that. It should have been more highly praised than it was. When you think about iconic commercials, that one's not in there, and it should be.
Yeah, but I remember watching it when I was young and being like, this isn't cool. And then and now I'm like, oh. Well,
I brought this up a couple of times. It's actually the opposite in my house because this year we decided for the older two kids, we weren't going to sign them up for anything. We were just going to let them relax because it's been busy. And last school year, they were complaining about being burned out and like there was just so much going on and they needed a break. And so this summer, strategically, we basically locked the two older kids who are 16 and 13 in the house with nothing to do and let them have some downtime to see what downtime and breathing time was like. And it worked in the sense that they are really excited to go to school. Like I have never seen my kids who don't really like school and have never really liked school. Shay does really good in school, but she still claims that she doesn't like it. They're counting down the days like you are for Murphy to go back, but for them to go back because they want to see civilization again. They want something to do during the day. And so it worked in that sense. I had to listen to them bitch 47,000 times a day about how bored they were for the last 2 months. But here it is. The payoff is happening now. They're excited to go back to school.
Well, okay, so Murphy's on this new kick. I don't know why, but she started telling people that I rob banks at night, that I leave the house. I don't know where this came from. I don't leave my home past 6:30 most nights, but so what I told her your story's ridiculous because banks aren't even open.
That's a perfect time to rob them.
Yeah, that's true, but she didn't catch on to that because she's young. So I tried to let it slide through. But And B, I said, "I'm here all night. Like, when do I leave?" And she's like, "When I'm sleeping. When I'm sleeping, you leave." And so I was just on the phone FaceTiming with Sophie, and I'm telling her this. I'm like, "This is like a thing," because she's running up to kids at soccer, the parents, the coaches. My mom robs banks at night. That's her job. I'm like, "No, it's not. I don't do that." Luckily most people are cool, but I made a bit of a faux pas that might not have helped me last night. We went to dinner and then we stopped at Target to get some school supply stuff, and I needed a new toothbrush, and so I got a toothbrush and I put it in the cart, and we check everything out, and we leave and we get in the car, and I don't even know, I was so joking, but I was looking through the bag and I saw this toothbrush and I pulled it out because I'm a nerd and I wanted to read about the toothbrush. And I said to Ryan, "I stole this," which is not true. But Murphy goes from the back seat, "You stole that?" And I'm like, "No, no, I did not steal it." She goes, "You just said you stole it." And it was one of those moments where I looked at Ryan and he was just shaking his head like, what are you doing? What is wrong with you? So now I'm fueling the fire that I'm some sort of robber thief, and she's starting school in 1 week. So will I get a call? Probably not, but
Well, and
that
it's
would
an
be
easily
weird.
believable story too, because you don't necessarily have a job, as we've talked about before, but you still have
This
a
is
pretty
my
nice
job.
life. You live in a nice house and drive a nice car and have nice clothing, so people could understand how you might be robbing banks or selling drugs.
Yeah, but she told Sophie today that she found a bag of money in my closet, and I'm like, "Point the way."
Yeah, where's
I
it
did
at?
I miss the bag of money? I think she's looking at laundry and thinking it's a bag of money, and I'm like, "No, let me wake you up to realization." That's what I'm doing this afternoon. But
Well, kids do deal with or they say the darndest things for sure. Here's Boone's latest one, and it's got me kind of freaked out. He's legitimately scared. So he is a chicken. We've talked about this. He's 5 and he's a chicken. Like he's scared of everything.
I
And
love that.
he won't even during
It's
the day, not, let
adorable.
alone night. Like I was a chicken as a kid too, and I wouldn't be on a different floor of the house than my parents at night when it was dark out. And I get it when it's
Mhm.
dark. But even during the day when it's light out, he doesn't like being on one floor of the house by himself. So unless the other two kids or me and Shannon are on that floor, he will be wherever we are. But for whatever reason, this morning, Shannon had to take Shay to a doctor's appointment. Quentin was still sleeping. I was taking a shower upstairs. And so Boone was on the main level watching TV by himself. And I'm in the shower and he comes running upstairs and he's like, "Dad, the scariest thing just happened ever." And he's legitimately freaked out. He's like, "The Alexa just started yelling at me saying that Beetlejuice is back, and then Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice." And he doesn't even know what Beetlejuice is. And so I'm like, "Dude, you prompted it somehow. You were messing with the Alexa, weren't you?" And he's like, "No, I was watching TV, Dad. I promise. It just started yelling Beetlejuice at me." And so now I think that my house has Beetlejuice in it, or Alexa's haunted, or something's going on because this isn't the type of story he would just make up. So why is my Alexa yelling Beetlejuice?
Well, I did see on our Alexa this morning that they're starting to push like ads for Beetlejuice, but you have to push like a start button, or you have to say, "Tell me more about the movie Beetlejuice," which I can't see your child doing.
He doesn't even know
And
about Beetlejuice. He doesn't even know that's a thing. Like he didn't know what Beetlejuice
I
was
think
until the
he
Alexa
somehow,
just started yelling it at him.
yeah, but there's scarier things, like Beetlejuice isn't that scary. If he came up and he's like, "The Exorcist lady was on there," and then I'd be like, "Oh my God, trash that Alexa. It's possessed."
That's true. Anyway, all right. Well, I'll let you know if my Alexa's possessed. This just happened before I came here to work and into this podcast. So I mean, there could be new developments. Maybe Beetlejuice or some sort of demon is going to come out of my Alexa next. I'll let you know if that
Okay.
happens.
Even if you find that out, hang on to that Alexa, because in October we're doing a lot of spooky things. And I talked to a paranormal expert, and this person goes to people's houses if they have like some sort of evil spirit there. You can hire them to come, like the Ghostbusters.
Sure they do. Is this person actually an actor at the local theater?
Swear to God. No, I only did that once. If I did that twice or three, it'd be stupid.
No,
It's
it
a
would be funny a
one-time
second time.
thing.
If you actually pulled it off a second time and had me believing it, it would be even more impressive than the first time. So I am on guard and I will continue to be on guard.
No, I swear. This is actually, I found this Facebook page and it's like Colorado Paranormal something. And so I'm reading on it because I'm trying to stack October where we have like, we're talking to a coroner one week and then the next week. So all of October will be just like really crazy, weird stuff. And so I'm kind of like on the search for that kind of stuff. And I found this page and I just posted on it. I'm like, I have a podcast. Would anyone want to come on in October? And some dude reached out and that's his job. He just
Hmm.
goes to people's house. And I'm like, that's
I'm
insane.
interested in that too. You know who
Yeah.
else you need to reach out to while we're on that subject? That lady that we met, the old lady, Madame Vera. She's the ghost hunter lady, paranormal lady, psychic lady
Oh,
at the
at the
Stanley Hotel.
Stanley.
I don't know if she's still alive. I hope she is. She was really old when we saw her last 10 years ago. She also
Uh,
liked to get hammered at our Halloween parties, which was really funny because then she'd let her guard down and it would be odd. Although she did tell Shannon one time, and I've said this before, she was hammered at our Halloween
oh, that
party.
you're going to have another
Yeah, we're
baby.
gonna have a baby, and within a year, we had another baby unplanned, and it's like Madame Vera planted that baby inside of her, and so I'm
Not
interested.
you
I'd like to have. Well, I planted the baby inside of her, but Madame Vera like gave
planted the
me the.
idea in her head.
Well, maybe Madame Vera planted the seed inside of me so that I could plant it inside of.
That's a beautiful thought.
It
And
could be well, we can ask Madame Vera about it. Can you reach out to her? She'd come on for sure. She loves us. She won't remember us, but she loves us.
You know what's funny is I remember back when I first had Murphy, we had a work event. It was like a fun little kid Halloween event, and I brought Murphy. She was like a couple months old, and Shannon, your wife, was holding her, and I go, Shannon, you need another baby. And I remember Shawn at the time was like, stop. Just stop saying that. But I kept just adding fuel to the fire. So with Madame Vera, I like to think that maybe I did a little pushing as well.
Well, thank you for helping me get laid 5 years ago. I appreciate it. It was nice, I think, if I
Anytime.
remember
I'm the
correctly.
best wingman you're gonna find.
It has been the best thing ever. I tell people all the time to the point where like it's probably annoying, but I was so anti having a third kid. We had
I
one of each
know.
already. The youngest one at the time was 8. Like it just didn't make any sense. Our lifestyle's not conducive. I talk all the time on this podcast about how busy I am. It just like I couldn't fathom the thought of having another baby. And we did it and we didn't
He's
mean
pretty
to.
freaking
And he's the best.
adorable.
He's the
Oh
best.
my God.
He's
I
the last 5 years have been my favorite years of my life for real because of him.
Well, what are you gonna say? How's that make your other kid
They
feel?
understand and they don't listen to this podcast.
I think it's so funny that when earlier you said he was scared, and I'm like, that's great. What I meant is you guys are the same. Like he is like a miniature version of you, and you are such a chicken pants, which is why I'm very excited for October. But I
The
mean,
funny part is I'm not
it's
a
funny.
chicken pants. Hold on though. Hold on. I
Yes,
gotta
you
stop you there.
are.
And I'm not like I'm probably the least chicken in my entire family. Like all 5 of us, I'm the least chicken of them. Every Shannon's very chicken. She's scared of storms bad, and for good reason. She lived through a nasty one time, and that was probably scary. Shay is on the verge of being a chicken, but she's good at hiding it. Quentin is full on chicken, and Boone is full on chicken. I'm like, I go to haunted houses. I ride roller coasters. I do scary things. I kill the spiders in our house. I'd get a snake if it was crawling around. No one else would do any of those things. So you're not giving me enough credit. Here's what I'm scared of. I'm scared of like opening portals to hell. And I feel like that's
I
what you do with this crazy weird shit.
No, Shawn, we're not. Oh, first of all, the psychic. Now, if you missed this episode, it's a few ago, but there was a psychic on, and it was just an actor, and he told Shawn bad news all the time. And but then when he did me, it was really good. It was truly the perfect
Yeah, but I
situation.
was
But
worried
the
before
whole
that.
time, Shawn's like, I am not talking to this person and I don't want to be dragged. And I said, that's fine. I'm not going to push you, knowing full well Shawn could not resist the situation. And so he was like, well, what about me? And I thought, took the bait, and you did. But I mean, you do have a genuine fear of opening a hell portal. And I want to respect that about you. And so I'm not going too deep into stuff, you know?
Yeah, there will be no Ouija boards. I'll leave.
No. How are we
That's
going
a
to play
tool.
Ouija board alone?
I don't know. I've never played one before. I don't know how it works, but I feel like you could put it on the screen and we could do it, and I don't want to.
Do you know what's so weird is you can buy a Ouija board at Target. It's just mixed in with the other games, and it's like Milton Bradley, and I'm like, "Damn, Milton Bradley, you're making all these portals to hell open up." Or,
That's true.
maybe that's I don't know. I've never actually heard of a Ouija board being a thing other than the movie Exorcist, and that's just a movie. I did the Ouija board when I was in high school, and it didn't work.
Hmm.
No
I've
one
never
wanted
played
to
with the
talk
Ouija board.
to me
I've
from the
never
other
even
side, even the demons. They were like, "Steer clear of this bitch."
I've never seen a Ouija board in real life. I mean, maybe like in a box, but I've never like seen one in action, and I don't want to.
Well, what
I'm gonna keep it that way. It's like cocaine. I don't never seen it in action, and I don't want to. Keep it away
Yeah.
from me.
I think it's funny that you're afraid of ghosts and stuff. That's all I'm saying,
I'm
is
not
I think
afraid of well, that's false.
you're kind of
I am
afraid of ghosts.
it would startle me pretty bad if a ghost was wandering around my house, and I would probably burn it down or move. But I guess that means I'm afraid, so never mind. I can't make any excuses. I'm afraid of ghosts. What can I say? I am.
Anyway,
But I don't
October
believe
is
that they
gonna be a
exist
fun month.
either. At the same point, that's part of the thing. Like, I don't think that there is one. I'm
Well,
just being
this is one of
real.
the
I don't think that
questions.
there's just ghosts wandering around. And so that's why I think it adds to my fear is like, if that actually happens, something that seems very impossible to me and doesn't exist, and now it happens, that's what the fear comes from. You understand what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah, no, I totally get that. But these are the questions that we need to ask these paranormal experts. Like, how do you fully buy into it? Like what have
But
you
don't you think that they're
seen?
gonna be like, when I tell them I'm a full-on skeptic and I don't believe in what they do, don't you think they're gonna be like, "Well, screw this asshole anyway?"
No, 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 no. I think that, well, you don't have to approach it like we really think like we just have to say it in a certain way. See, you're getting the pre-show pep talk, but
Okay, thank you.
we'll just have to like do it in a certain way that's not offensive. Like,
October's still 2 months away, so we got
yeah, we're
time. We
fine.
got
I don't even
time to figure it out. I was pretty scared, actually. The church started last night, and
Oh, where you volunteer with the
yeah,
teenagers.
I volunteer with the
Yeah.
teenagers on Wednesday nights at church, but they take it off for the summer when the kids aren't in school. And so it started up again last night. And to celebrate it starting up last night, at the end, they had this color wars thing where there's like color powder. They do it at
Oh,
like some
yeah,
of
yeah,
these running
yeah.
races
Oh,
and stuff. And you throw it, you're supposed to wear white and you throw it on each other, and it makes you all colorful. And they had a war. So at the end of the night last night, I did not plan on participating. As a matter of fact, I was wearing black, thinking that I wouldn't participate by default. Since I'm wearing black, the color won't show up on me. But there
kids
was
don't
one
think
kid,
that way, Shawn. Children don't think of that.
well, there's one kid in my group, and there's only the colors designated in one area. So if you don't go in that area, you're not allowed to throw color on people. And so I
Okay.
planned on just staying in the non-color area. But there's one kid in my group who's in a wheelchair. He's bound to a wheelchair, and he wanted to participate. And so I was a hero, and there was no wheelchair ramp to get him off of the sidewalk onto the parking lot. So I took him all the way around the building so that we could go down a ramp and then into the zone where the color was being thrown. And I told him along the way, I was like,
Shawn.
"Hey, dude, when we get to the color zone, you are on your own. I'm pushing you in there, and then I'm leaving because I don't want to get hit. Mostly my
I
white
am
shoes.
pushing
I
your
don't want the
wheel
color.
in
I
there.
don't."
That's
Yeah, well,
that's
he wanted to. I wasn't forcing him.
Did you
He
actually give him a push and then
no,
back
well,
away?
here's the rest of the story. So instead of just pushing him in and say, "Here, bam, bye," and maybe he runs into something, maybe he hits the curb and falls out of his chair. Bad things could have
Oh,
happened. So I did push him gently, and I went into the war zone with him, and I'm yelling at these kids as I'm pushing him in. "I'm not playing. I'm just pushing this guy in. Leave me alone." And they respected that until I no longer had a touch of the wheelchair and I had to walk back out. And then it was on like Donkey Kong. I got nailed from every direction. Turns out the color shows up really good on black, but here's where I'm going with this. This morning, I forgot that all of this happened, and it's like a cloud, right? Like you get the
Yeah,
color all over
yeah.
you, but
It's a
it obviously a
powder.
lot of it's going up into the air too because it's a powder, and so
Yeah.
it's like a cloud. So this morning, I'm taking a shower, and this is kind of gross, but sometimes like I feel like I need to blow my nose, and so I do it in the shower without Kleenex, just down the drain.
Oh,
And so I
okay.
did that this morning, and my snot was neon blue, and I forgot all about last night. And I was like, oh, dude, and I've had some sinus issues lately. Like my sinuses have been burning, and like I think it's allergies, but there's been some weird feelings in
So
there.
you got
And
scared because
yeah,
they were
dude,
blue?
neon blue. And I was like, whatever's been wrong with my my sinuses has just come up, and I'm like trying to get it. You should have seen me in the shower. I'm trying to pick it up because I'm thinking I need to show the doctor that I have neon blue snot. And so I'm trying to like pick it up and save it. And then it dawned on me. Luckily, no one was watching. It dawned on me that
Had you already picked it up?
I breathed in. No, I couldn't try to pick up snot off of a shower floor. It doesn't work.
But I love that you were trying.
Dude, it scared me in that moment bad.
It
Have you
did?
ever
Yeah,
I don't
I've
even know
had
what to
that.
equate it to. Like, I don't know that I've had a medical thing like that where I'm just like, "Holy cow,
Oh my g
something is so wrong with me."
that's
Like, if
so
you pissed
weird.
blood, I guess it would be very similar to that, but I've never pissed blood before.
Okay, so that's so weird because I know a lot of people say this in a way that's like, "I'm such a hypochondriac," but I'm, like, literally a I've had to go to the hospital before because I thought I've had so many heart attacks, and they're like, "No, not a heart attack." Then you get a $1,000 bill. So one day if I have a heart attack, Ryan's probably gonna be like, "No, no, no, no," and then I'll just die. But I have had those moments, which is awful because when you're legitimately like it's been diagnosed and you have to take medicine for it. Uh, you do stuff where you'll look at a mole on your arm and you'll be like, "Oh my god." Like I still to this day I feel like the medicine has helped me through the years and trying other techniques have helped me through the years, but I still to this day, like yesterday, I was watching a show and a commercial came on and it was for a certain cancer drug. And I have to mute the TV. Like I can't hear that because then I will then believe, oh my God, I have this. And it's a mind fuck. But it's a real thing where I've had that blue booger problem like at least once a week since I'm like 12.
You should quit going to the color throwing parties, and you
I
won't
don't
have the
go to
blue
cut, but
booger.
I'm just saying, like, I have
I
those
know,
moments where I look down
I
and I'm
get it.
like, "Do you
Uh-oh,
think
something's
this
wrong.
bump
Right.
looks weird?" Yeah, it's a
It's a good
problem.
thing that I am not like that because it would be bad news for me. But it was a scary moment for a second. I just wonder, like, what do they make that color stuff out of, too?
Well, yeah,
Because
you guys are all
clearly, if it was like
inhaling.
lodged in my nose, bright blue, I breathed it. It's in my lungs too.
Yeah, I know.
What
What
did
are
I
you
breathe
inhaling?
last night?
I love that that's what you're worried about when you pushed a kid in a wheelchair into the war zone. I also love
Yes.
that I picture you and I think it's amazing what you do, but I have to say every time you tell me a story, I just picture you as the old guy and they just don't listen to you and you're like, "Don't hit me, guys." And then you turned around and got like destroyed. Yeah.
No, that's not how it is.
Okay.
Well, that's
Well,
how it was last night, but that's not how it is.
that's not
The other problem with this is they told us that this stuff just wipes off of anything, but just like a wet paper towel or a wet
yeah.
washcloth. And so Quentin, my 13-year-old, he was like full on in the war zone, loved every second of it. It was designed for kids like him. And so
Yeah.
he was covered in it. And last night we get home and we sat down. We have a couple of like white and green chairs in the living room, and he sat on one and it was all in his hair and stuff. And he leaned back on it. And so the white part of my chair was bright yellow. And I was like, dude, go get a paper towel and wet it and get it off. And he's scrubbing on it and it's not coming off. It did not come off with wet paper towel. Luckily, we have one of those like handheld steam cleaners. And so I made
Yeah.
him bust that out at 9:30 last night and steam clean my chair. And it
Did
came
it
off with the
work?
steam cleaner. Yeah. But you shouldn't have to steam clean it off. Like, I wonder what's going to happen to my poor white shoes. I thought I was
Or
going to
your
throw them in the
poor
wash machine
lungs.
and they, yeah, my poor lungs, they're yellow forever.
They're
The doctor's
forever
gonna look at all the
green
people that were
or
at this
blue.
color party last night and their lungs, and he's gonna be like, "What were you guys smoking all your lives?" And it was one
See,
color party.
I wasn't even at this church color party, and I'm like, my chest is getting a little bit tight. So I can't imagine how you're feeling right now. That must be horrifying.
I feel good. I feel fine, and it's all right. I've breathed in a lot worse shit, I'm sure.
Well, I know. Okay, so to change the subject here, if your stories, which I loved that story, you pushed a kid in a wheelchair and you were such a hero. And I think that's very great of you. And you pushed him into a color party, which is just amazing. But
It's what
I
he
was
asked for.
okay, listen, that would suck if he didn't want to go in and you were just like, I'm going to still push you in. Um, I was reading the story this morning out of the Washington Post, and listen to what people are doing at their wedding, Shawn. And how weird is this? They are focus, Shawn, focus on me. They are getting birds of prey to carry the rings. They're getting rid of ring bearers. This is like all the rage in Great Britain. It hasn't really made its way here, but it's in Great Britain. And I was reading about this couple who got married and the owls had the rings. And what did the owl do, Shawn?
Took off or ate the ring.
Took off, just took off. And what sucks is you can hire a company, which this is crazy, where you can pick the bird that you want, the bird of prey, to carry your rings. And they're trained to do this. So that this bird had a handler for 8 hours. What the bird did was it took it up on top of the chapel and then just wouldn't come down. And so for 8 hours, the guy's outside trying to lure the owl back to him. How shitty of a day at work is that? Where you're like, I just had to have the bird had to fly from A to B. I mean, he probably didn't even end up getting paid. But they say that this is like a regular thing. You can hire a raptor ring bearer. It's 1200. Well, this one company I was reading about, $1,200 for the wedding, and you get an hour of cocktail hour where you can come and pet the owl or the hawk or whatever bird you choose. But they're
Mm.
saying that there is a problem because sometimes the birds fly away.
It makes sense. I announce games at the Air Force Academy, and they have real life falcons. And like for the
Yeah.
halftime shows and stuff there, they let these falcons fly around the stadium. And I'm always thinking to myself, like, when's one of these things just going to take off and it can be free for life? It doesn't have to live in the little cage that they bring it out in before
Yeah.
it takes off and fly. Like, it's going to get smart at some point and it's going to take off. Every once in a while, they make it fly so it flies really low, like really close to the stands, and every once in a while it'll hit somebody and they go fast, but they never take off. They always stay. And
What do
so,
you mean a bird going fast runs into somebody? That has to be like, does it hurt the
no,
person?
I don't think that it doesn't like bam hit them hard, but like people will like reach up and it'll touch a
Oh,
bird or
okay, I
something.
get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I was gonna say those are some out of control birds.
And
I
it
can't
shits on
believe they
people
allow
all
it.
the time too. I mean, they can train the bird to fly around the stadium and do these tricks and stuff, but they can't train it to hold its shit until after it's done doing its tricks. And so I'm always weary when it flies over me that I'm going to be the one that gets shit on, and then everyone around you is like, "Haha, you're the dude that got shit on today," and that sucks and that's embarrassing.
That's happened to me,
But not
actually.
at
Have
an
you?
Air Force game in
Well, of
front of
course not.
50,000 people.
That's true. If a bird shit on you while you were announcing, that would be a highlight on ESPN Ocho, and I would watch it. No, but you know why people are starting to do this is because of, and I find this to be the nerdiest of reasons.
A
And when I
TV
read,
show,
no, when I
a
read
movie.
this, God, Shawn, can I finish? When I read this, I thought automatically like nerd wedding because of the movie Harry Potter.
That's
They
what
thought
I said. I
twice.
said a movie and you
I
said
know,
no.
Shawn, but I'm telling a story and I'm building up to it. And you're like,
Oh,
TV, movie, which, not to veer off track here, but somebody reached out to us yesterday. And I should say me, because I'm the one that answers everything. And they were like, if you look at the signs, Shawn is on meth.
if I look at the what?
if you look at the signs of how fidgety you are and how shaky you are, this person said they truly think you're on meth.
Look at my teeth.
No. Well, I
Good.
know, and
Not on meth.
also, you don't have sores all over your face and
That's
stuff, so
true.
I'm like, "No, we're out of the meth zone. He's just a fidgety little fella." Anyway, should we end it here?
Nope.
Okay, well,
People demand 1 more minute of our time. No, I'm kidding. It's fine. We can end it here. There was one thing that I wanted to bring up today, and so we can just graze it real fast on our way out, and that
sure.
is you've been watching the Olympics. I have not been watching the Olympics, but I did turn them on the other night just in time to see this guy whose job I kind of want, and maybe you're familiar with him or maybe you're not, but he's gone viral since the moment. His literal job, he's at the swimming events, and sometimes the swimming caps will fall off of the swimmers. And instead of just letting the swimmers jump back in the pool and get their cap that has fallen off, there's a guy whose job is that. And so somebody's swimming cap fell off and he had to
That
take
sucks.
off
He had
his
to
jumpsuit and he had a Speedo on that was very flowery. And you see all these Olympians who have like 12 packs because they're so in
and
shape.
he
This
didn't?
guy is full on dad bod and he's very formal and he jumps in with his flowery Speedo suit and his dad bod. He gets the swim cap and he comes out, and that is his job. His name is
Why would you
Swim Cap
want that
Bob.
job?
I don't know, but I don't know how much he gets paid. I don't, but he's now famous. Swim Cap Bob is now famous because it's everywhere. It's on all the social medias. It's like the viral moment of the Olympics, and it just happened. And I watched it happen, and I'm really proud because it's the first time I watched the Olympics,
I
and I kind of
totally
want to
missed
be Swim
that.
Cap Bob.
I wanna see Swim Cat Bob.
Go
Also,
look him up.
last night we turned it on. I'm, like, obsessed. I'm gonna be so sad when it's over, but last night we turned it on and it was synchronized swimming,
I
and
hate that.
that is the weirdest thing in the world to watch. Because first of all, they can't touch the bottom. How they're throwing these other girls up in the air. How do you do that in water when you can't touch the bottom?
How do you
We
know they
couldn't
can't touch the bottom? Did somebody
because
tell
they
you that?
have no, 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 because the pool that they do it in is completely clear, like at, like at SeaWorld, and so you can see and their legs are going like a million miles an hour because they have to lift these people up so they could do pretty poses.
Hmm.
Amazing, how do you do that? That needs to be a prime time one. I mean, like, that's really crazy that people can do that.
It's crazy, but I don't like it. I don't like any of those subjective sports where like there's a score based on judges. I like how many
Oh.
goals did you score? We know a true winner. But every time that there's one of those events like gymnastics where there's a judge involved, there's a corrupt judge, they screw up the judging, somebody gets pissed, it's wrong, the wrong person won, it's dumb. I
Has
hate
that
it.
ever happened in the history of the
Yeah,
Olympics?
all the time. There's documentaries.
Really?
Go watch it. And this costs people money because I was also just reading this, and I'll leave you with this, and then we're done today. U.S. Olympians receive $37,500 per gold medal, 37,500 per gold
Ooh.
medal, 22,500 for silver, $15,000 per bronze. This year's gold medals are mostly made of silver, and they're worth about $950 in real life. So you can add that on top of the $37,000 that they get for it. But I didn't know my kids were asking me when we were watching Swim Cat Bob the other night, do these guys get paid? And I guess I lied to them because I didn't know. I thought, like, you do it for the press, you do it for your country. No, you don't get paid. You actually do. If you win, you
Well,
get
if
paid.
you win. But I'm today years old when I'm finding out they're not real gold. I literally thought you got a gold
Nope,
medal. It's
they're gold
made
plated
out of
silver.
gold.
No,
But
I
that's
think
bullshit.
if that was gold, that hunk of gold, I don't know if you know much about gold, but like I have a friend who's in gold and he gave me a little piece that's like tiny, tiny, tiny,
And it was
tiny, tiny.
heavy.
It,
These are
no,
Olympians.
it's
They
not.
can't
No, but it's not heavy, but it's like an ounce and it's worth like $3,000. It's tiny. It's like a little flake.
so
It's
you're
worth three
saying that
thousand
that would
dollars.
cost too much
Probably
money.
be like a dude, I'm guessing, but I'm thinking that like if that was full on solid gold, it'd probably be $1,000,000 a piece for those things. I don't even
And
know
you
if
don't
there's
think
enough
our
gold in the
finest
world.
athletes I feel like that is something that we could probably swing considering what we spend money on.
I don't think there's enough gold. You got to remember that gold is
Um,
not something that we can make. There's only so much of it. I don't think there's enough.
That's true, Shawn. Well, you've taught me so many things in this episode, so I thank you. If you are listening, put it to automatic download. That's important because it'll download even if you don't even feel like listening to us. You can go back later and it will be there. And you know what else I like about automatic download, Shawn? You know
What?
what else? I like the
What?
fact that if your internet sucks, it's there already and you can listen to it and it won't do that spinny annoying thing. Also, if you're watching on our channel, be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. But don't comment anything. Well, yeah, if you think Shawn has a problem with meth, you should let us know. Thank you. Goodbye.
Is that it? It's over?
Hey everybody, it's Sadie here again. And before you sign off, will you do me a favor? Will you go to our social media pages and check out the pet of the week? I'm obsessed with this dog. Ryan would divorce me, but I'm so close. It's a tiny Chihuahua and his name is Little D, and he's amazing. And he's good with kids. He's good with other animals. He's housebroken. But the best thing in Little D's bio is the fact that he does not like being woken up in a chaotic way. That's like the only downside to this dog, which I'm like, yeah, me too. So we're connected. But again, I might get a divorce if I bring home another pet. So maybe you would like to adopt Little D. Well, we're working with our friends at Mile High Canine Rescue, and this is all sponsored by Casey's Pest Control Services. We're doing the pet of the week. We're hoping to get these animals adopted. Every week, you're going to get a new pet that you may fall in love with, like Little D, which is what they used to call Shawn in high school. I stole that joke from him. Thank you, Casey's Pest Control Services, for being the segment sponsor of the Pet of the Week. Details on our social media pages.